All right, guys, so time for a midday market recap. We're going to go over the trades from today. Now, uh, today, today was a tricky day. Today was February 1st, the beginning of the month. It was also in the shadow of the worst day of the year, which was yesterday for me. And this week has been tricky. On Tuesday, or let's see, it was on Monday. I had the biggest winning trade, the biggest winning day of the year. I made about $16,000, and then yesterday I lost 13,000. So my biggest winning day, and then my biggest losing day back to back. I think that is the type of thing that is really common for me, that I will have a great day and then the next day I try to, repeat that same success and it just doesn't work and I end up having the biggest win and the biggest loss on the same stock. It was true last week on CATB. I think it were, what was it? I can't remember what it was last week, but it was true last week on FFHL. That's what it was. And it's going to be true this week on RGSE. And, I think the cause is that one stock is the most volatile. So it has so much potential to either do really well or do really badly. Fortunately, today I was able to stay focused. I traded three stocks and I made $4,343, which puts me back up above $20,000. I opened today at 16,596, and all yesterday I was feeling annoyed with myself because I had put together such a fantastic month for the month of January, and then on the last day of the month, I screwed it up and ended up, giving back a bunch of profit, and it's just a very annoying thing to do. When you have your goal and then you give it back, very, very frustrating. So, in any case, today I was able to rally and have a good day. And I was being aggressive today. I was mindful as I was sitting down this morning that I would be feeling that revenge trading, that I'd be feeling a little bit of a real aggression to try to get back what I lost, and that I had to be careful not to allow that emotion to get me into a bad trade. On the other hand, that emotion can help me in a certain way be more aggressive. It's like getting pumped up before game day, and getting yourself into the zone and really ready to attack the market is not a bad thing. And so if you imagine like the day this or last November when DRYS went to $120 or when GLBS squeezed up, if the day before that I had had a red day, then that day where the market went insane, I would have been aggressive and I could have just, destroyed it. I could have had an amazing day because my mindset was just to get in there and be really aggressive. So you can harness that emotion in a positive way as long as you channel it on only taking good quality setups. The problem is that as a beginner trader, it's really easy to let that emotion get you into anything where you just start trading Apple and Facebook and Twitter. You start totally trading outside your normal zone, and then you just end up giving back profit. So I'll show you guys who are watching on Facebook. This is my P&L for the day: $4,343.62. Commissions today, a staggering $350. I mean, really, really ridiculous. And I'll be the first to admit that I may have overtraded a little bit. I was taking bigger size. I started on HMNY with 5,000 shares, and then I added 5,000, so I had 10,000 shares of that one, which means basically that trade between one buy, two buys. Actually, I bought in 2,500 share blocks, so it was four orders. So that's $16 to buy. Plus scaling out, I think in four pieces, it may have even been five, is four. So that's $32 right there on that one trade in commissions. But then I have ECN fees, and those ECN fees are based on every share that I trade. So it adds about $40 to the 10,000 shares to buy it, and another $40 to sell it. So that's $80 in ECN fees, or maybe $60 in ECN fees, plus the $35. It's like $100 in commissions for that one trade. Fortunately, on that first trade, I was able to make about $2,800, and then I got in for the second pullback or the first pullback for the second trade, and I made another 750. So HMNY was a good trade, and then I took a trade on Plum, PULM, 5,000 shares, 8 cents, $400, and ETRM, 4,000 shares, $779, about 15 cents or 20 cents or whatever that was. So, generally speaking, I was a little more aggressive today, but I was only trading setups that I felt were strong. And as I was saying in the room, there were a couple of opportunities to just jump in stocks that were running, and I said, no, I've got to wait. Even though I would have actually made money if I had jumped in it, I said I have to wait for the first pullback because I just can't. I just need to have a good day. And my goal today was, I had two goals. The first goal was to just close the day green. I mean, just close the day green, just kind of like clean the slate. And then the second goal was to only trade A quality setups. And the hope was that by only trading A quality setups, I would end up having a decent day. And the other hope was that we would have some A quality setups. So let's break down the trades that I took today. I'll move this out of the way. So first trade was HMNY. This was gapping up 9% on news. There was a headline that was on MarketWatch. So saw the gap, saw the headline, and you can see this pre-market, how this was consolidating right under $5. So I'll show you this chart here, consolidating right under $5. And so I looked at this and I was like, this is what I wanted RGSE to do yesterday, to hold under 5. Or, well, it was to hold under 6 in that case, but, to hold under this level. So as soon as the bell rang, I was like, I want to get in this, and I'm going to get in under 5 and ride it. So right here is the break over the 200 moving average, right down here. And I knew as soon as we broke over that level, we had potential. HMNY is a former runner. It's a stock that has a history of making big moves. It also has a low float. So when we have an imbalance between supply and demand, it can move very quickly. And there's a day here where we went from $5 to $13. It's not uncommon for this stock to do that type of thing, which, is one of the reasons it's on my watch list as a stock to keep an eye on anytime it's gapping up, because we have these opportunities. All right, so market opens, and it ends up actually opening just a little lower. It opens surprisingly low. It opened at 72. And so I saw that and I was like, you know what? That's fine. That just gives me a better opportunity to get in this trade at a lower price. So let's see. I got in at, just look at my orders here. So I started adding at 77, 80, 85, 89, and 90. So I added into that push, and then we got the pop over 5 up to 525. So we got this first opportunity here, and in this right here is the same thing we saw yesterday on, we saw it on two stocks yesterday. I can't remember the names right now, but that same push right out of the gates. We even saw it a little on RGSC. I just got in at too high. All right, so we popped up here, we pulled back, had the first trade here. I got in, I got out. I got back in down here, and then sold again through this push up to the high of 533. So two trades right in here. And I thought this one had the potential to really open up today, and $6 was kind of like my mental target. $6 above there, 650 above there, 7, 750, 8. But it just couldn't really get the momentum, so it didn't end up really working out as well as I wanted. Despite that, I still made $3,500. So closed up that trade, and then I'm looking for the next one. DRYS was on my radar because it was gapping up, but I expected it would be choppy, and that's exactly what it was. The biggest candles of the day are all red. Big red, big red, big red. 3 huge red candles. Not an easy stock to trade at all. So no trades on DRYS. I said I'm going to leave it alone. Even though pre-market this looked like a decent flag right in here, I just felt like it was too risky. And yesterday it traded 165 million shares of volume, which is pretty crazy. All right, so let's see. Then we had PULM, and PULM just popped up on those scanners out of nowhere. It squeezed up from 220 up to a high of 283. And I feel a little annoyed on this one because my entry, let's see, I jumped in this one. Where was it? We had the high right here, first candle to make a new high. I got in on this red candle. As this red candle dropped down, I got in at 65 and 67 and 70. And then we popped up here up to 80. And then we kind of dropped down. We popped back up to 80, and that's when I sold. I was like, all right, this thing's not holding. 83 was the high, and there was a big seller. There was I think a 20,000 share seller sitting at 280. So I got in. It didn't hold. I got out. And then I wanted to get back in, but I was nervous because of that big seller at 280. We came back up to 280 here. Again, that seller was still there. We dropped back down. And then we came back up here, and we kind of broke through that level. And that ended up being the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. The break over 280, and that moved back up. So I'm a little annoyed that I missed that pullback opportunity because I could have made another maybe $500, $600 on that. But in any case, I made 400 on it, and I was content with that. So at that point, I thought I was probably done for the day, and I was up around $3,400 or $3,500. And I was like, well, that's probably it. We're kind of getting into the lunch hour or getting close to lunch and not seeing a lot. And DRYS is selling off, so the shippers are selling off as well. So maybe this will just be it for today. And then ETRM spiked up. So ETRM is another one of those stocks, history of making a big move very recently, kind of down here and curling up. Today was the first green day after a couple of red days. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, if this can break above this moving average, we've got lots of room. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to do that. But what I did do is I jumped in and rode that momentum. So let's go back here. This is the one where I was tempted to buy it at 670, which was, let's see, where was it? I was tempted to buy it, yeah, kind of like right in here at 660 as soon as it hit my high day scanner. As soon as I saw it hitting that scan, I was like, this looks good. I want to jump in it. People in the room were mentioning it. But I said, no, you need to wait for a good opportunity. So it ends up popping here up to a high of 695 and then pulls back. And I was like, okay, this 1-minute pullback is my opportunity to get in. So I got in right there at 695 and 4,000 shares, rode the momentum here up to 726, pulled back, popped back up over 726, 734. And we went all the way up to a high of 778. And then up here at 780, we had a 40,000 share seller, and that guy kind of put the cap on the move today. During the 5-minute consolidation, I was watching for a possible pullback here for a 5-minute setup. But what I said is that we've got 1 doji candle, 2 doji candles, 3 doji candles. That's showing us that there's a lot of indecision, that there's a lot of kind of tug of war. And I said, I don't think this is going to be a good one for a move up. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. And I'm glad I did because it ended up selling off. So today I've recouped all but about 1,000 of my loss from yesterday. And that's good. And even with the loss yesterday, I was kind of like, well, I guess I gave back most of my profit from Monday. But, I was still green on the week. So, as of yesterday, let's see, I was, between my 2 accounts, I was up about 3,000 on the week. So, this gives me a nice boost forward. And, for that, I'm happy. I also traded in my Speed Trader account today, but I didn't do as well. I only made $2,200. I broke even on Plum, made $1,100 on ETRM, and made $1,300 on HMNY. So I didn't make as much there because I was looking for bigger moves, and we just didn't get the bigger moves. So total profit on the week, right around $10,000. And that includes a $13,000 loss. So that's good, I guess. I mean, would rather be a little higher than that, but you know what? This is part of the deal of trading. It's really hard to not kind of, count your chickens before they hatch or whatever, because you see yourself making these gains and you're like, oh, my account's up, it's getting higher and higher. But you know that it goes up and it has to come down. So it's kind of like you have to budget for that. And one of the things I was thinking about last night is the fact that one thing I talk about during kind of the, I guess, spring or summer when the deadliest catch is on is the fact that, having a day where you give back $13,000, it obviously is not fun. Nobody enjoys that. I certainly don't enjoy it. But I kind of think about it the way I watch the deadliest catch. So, when you're watching the deadliest catch, those of you who have watched the show on the Discovery Channel, it's the fishermen up in Alaska. It seems that sometimes when they set their crab pots near the ice pack is always kind of moving. When they set their pots near the ice pack, they can get they can do really well. They just full pots and they can, collect a lot of crab and basically, reach their quota really fast. But there's a risk there with putting the pots that close to the ice pack. And I would sort of say that day one, Monday, was me putting the pots really close to the ice pack. I picked them up, $16,000, and it was a big win. And I was like, set them back. Let's do this again. I set them back and went back in for RGSC day 2, and that's when the ice came over the pots. And instead of being able to walk away with profit, I'm trying to minimize my loss. And what happens when the ice comes over their pots is it kind of, pulls the buoys, it buries the buoys, and they can no longer, sometimes they lose all their pots. And that's an example of kind of pushing your luck, getting a little greedy, and, it is what it is. So at the same time, it's kind of part of business. They know from time to time they're going to lose a pot and they're going to have one that breaks or the line breaks or whatever it might be. And there are times where they, for whatever reason, are going to decide to set back in a place that they think is going to be really good, and they all come back up empty. Something changed, or they set back and then they got greedy. The ice came over, and there you go. You end up with a big loss. And so I think that's kind of similar to what happened with me on Monday, getting really aggressive on RGSC, really nailing it, $16,000, and thinking that history would repeat itself and that we would see the same type of follow through on RGSC on day 2 that we saw last year when it had a 2-day breakout and it went like 400%. I really thought it looked almost the same, that we would have that same follow through. And maybe we would have if it weren't for DRYS catching so much of the attention yesterday. But I, ended up getting overly aggressive and maybe a little greedy, pushed my luck, and, I gave back some profit. So a lesson learned yesterday, and today I was able to regroup. I took good quality setups. I didn't chase. I didn't have the issue with getting partial fills and then buying much higher. I took my entry, took my trade, had my stop, and able to walk away now with $4,300. So, that's good. I feel really good about that. Getting to 25,000 in this small account has been something that is really important to me. I really want to get there as quickly as I can. And the risk with trading aggressively and using margin and, kind of like stepping up and trying to swing for the fences on every time you're up at bat is that you will have some losses. So when we break down my P&L for the month of January, we'll see it's steady up. And at the end, we had some big green days. And then I had no red days until I had one giant red day. And I think that's kind of the luck of the draw with being this aggressive. It's going to work until it doesn't. And then it's going to be painful. But fortunately, having accuracy in the, low 70s or whatever it is, we'll find out when I export my report or do my trade report. But fortunately, the losses have been kind of few and far between. And it's been the result of focusing on A-quality setups. All right, so that's where we're kind of finishing today. I'm hoping Thursday and Friday I can continue some really strong trading and help build up this cushion on the month. One of the things that I've struggled with in the past, and I've talked about this, is how in the beginning of the month I can get a little overly aggressive, and I can try to, in an attempt to try to get myself into the driver's seat as quickly as I can, I sometimes get too aggressive on the wrong setups. And I was very mindful of that this morning, that if I wanted to be aggressive, that was okay, but I could only do it on the right setup. So I did it, and it was a good day, and hopefully tomorrow and Friday we'll see good quality setups as well, and I can inch closer to $25,000. So that's the spot that I'm really excited to get to. Once I'm over that level, I can switch back to my Speed Trader account and not have to try to trade into accounts. I can just trade in Speed Trader. I will have a slightly different strategy for this challenge, even though I'll be in my Speed Trader account. I'll have a slightly different strategy because I'm not going to want to take as much risk. My Speed Trader account right now is at $55,000, so I can afford to be a little bit more, risky with that one, and I'll have to, taper things back again, but that's okay. So hopefully I'll be able to get started in that big account within the next couple weeks and make my way right towards the next threshold, which I guess will probably be $50,000, and then 75, and then 100. All right, guys. So let's see. I want to make sure we answer any questions that you guys have. For those of you watching on Facebook or who are going to watch the recap on YouTube, you can post comments, and I'll make sure we answer them. I started the year with about 27,000, 28,000 in Speed Trader, so I'm up about 100%. Let's see. How many trades do I take at once, Orlando? I only take one trade at a time. Very rarely will I, do more than that. I just feel like if I'm taking 10 trades, each trade has 10% of my focus. It just divides my attention. I do better if I can focus on one at a time. And, obviously if I have 10 trades, I'm going to be focused mostly on one. So I'll probably have, 80% of my attention on one and then very little attention on the other ones, which isn't really a good strategy for me for the way I trade. So one at a time, one trade, get in, get out, and then look for the next one. Now, RGSE for a swing trade, that's not one that, I would be swing trading now. I might have considered it for a swing trade if I was a swing trader for the first daily candle to make a new high, but we got that such a strong resolution right away. I don't know. I wouldn't still be holding it. So Mohammed, yeah, when you see on the level on the time and sales, you can see here this time and sales has red. Those are orders that go through on the bid. Green is on the ask, and white is usually an order that goes between the spread. All right, so it's neither on the ask or the bid. It's somewhere in the middle. Exit strategy on ETRM. Well, I wanted to see it get up to $8, and when we saw that heavy seller at 80, I was kind of like, this is going to be an issue. And we dipped down, we came back up, we tried to retest it. I was ready to even add to my position over 80, but we just didn't have enough buyers wanting to buy up that order, so I threw in the towel. So Graham, in terms of getting the best entry, the safest entry is almost always going to be based on the 5-minute chart. And so if the best entry to you would be the safest, then you would focus on the 5-minute. If the best entry is one that gives you the most opportunity to profit, then you may want to use more of the 1-minute chart. And I use a combination of the 1-minute and the 5-minute. I use the 1-minute at the open in the first 30 minutes because of the level of volatility. I know that there's opportunities, right here where you see this candle go from 220 to 283. There's a lot of volatility there. There's a lot of opportunity for profit, but you have to get in and be quick. All right. Let's see. But if you're having trouble with accuracy or chasing, then I would focus on the 5-minute time frame. All right, guys. So again, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll make sure I get those answered, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. This afternoon at 4 p.m., Jeff is going to do a Warrior Pro session, so he'll be talking to you guys about his swing trades and some of the option trading strategies that he's using. So Warrior Pro students, you can stay tuned for that. And everyone else, I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!